but the situation you're in at the moment is you're in this clearing, so there are these hills surrounding you. There is the four-legged, really tall porcelain walker with a busted windshield, and the two bodies of the that the porcelain princess used, that are both dead. One of them stabbed by Azure, and the other shot by Nida. And a little bit of context, you do know that there's the floating barge traveling east. You managed to slow them down a little bit. Azure unrooted the tree, but you assume that they will cross your path soonish. So I assume it's mid-morning. There's the purple haze in the air, which limits your view. So what do you do?
I'm going to change position on the hill. Mm-hmm. So instead of facing the clearing, I want to be facing the road. So I've got line of sight on that floating barge when it comes into view. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to nudge Austin's to basically kind of get him into position as well.
Mm-hmm. It gives you the thumb up and crouches down.
I would say it's probably best just to hang out in the walker and pepper them with lasers should they show up.
About the walker, so you're inside the walker, and I described the blinking displays, the dials and knobs and the levers, and you get the creeping feeling that this is way out of your league. Like, in order to find out how you move that thing, that takes serious studying.
Ah,
I mean, obviously you can randomly press buttons and pull things, but it will come down to luck whether that has a beneficial effect.
Are there any obvious gun type apparati, like stuff like in Star Wars where they have the two sticks with parts on
them? So from the outside on the head, you can clearly see the two gun barrels sticking out. The inside, nothing is apparent. So this is old Magitech from the long ago.
Oh, okay.
And to make things worse, the porcelain princes don't really understand either how it works. They make it work with duct tape and spittle and prayers. So the workaround on top of the original Magitech is probably what really trips you off.
I think on a meta level, I'm torn of whether it's urgent enough to care about getting control of the walker right now, or whether we just like, oh, it's a hideout and they show up and we do something, or it would be cool to just interface with the porcelain walker and do my machine person thing and have an active porcelain walker for whatever comes next. So I'm a little torn.
I mean, I think it'd be cool as hell if you interfaced with the walker, so we have a cybernetic prairie dog with two brains running an AT-AT.
Yeah, I mean, okay, so I guess we can do the negotiation for the spell.
Yes.
And then I can decide whether that's worth the situation right now versus doing it at a time when it's more leisurely paced or...
So you have interface, give into your machine nature and reach into the machine nature of another, which makes perfect sense in that context. I think that the cost of interfacing without any kind of other preparation. So in order to take control of the walker, to make it do whatever you want to do, I think it's a D6. I think that is fair.
Okay. Is that a relatively long-lasting control?
That would be for, that's a good question. I think you would have to, like, the way I envision or like I imagine your ability is that you more or less become the walker. And so as long as you transfer part of your personality into the walker, you have total control.
Okay. So it's roughly like as long as I stay in contact with whatever controls I'm jacking into, or something like that.
Yes, I would say that you. I mean, you have a double brain, which is pretty cool. So one part of your brain could theoretically take care of the walker, and the other about your cybernetic dog personality. I also remember that you are a bit distracted by some kind of subroutine that was triggered by the strange shapes of Vicar's ear.
Yeah, so, I have disadvantage on mental rolls because of half of my brain is distracted by Vicar's speech.
So I would argue that as you can control yourself, or you can control the walker, but not both.
Okay. Yeah, for a D6, let's go for that. My current HP is pretty high, and I can just essentially stay blockaded inside the walker.
So how does it look like?
I guess I don't think I've done this since I turned into a prairie dog, maybe. Because before it was, you know, pop wires out the back of my neck from my machine human body. I like the image of it's my extensible arms, but like that, like super anime looking, like my fingers like pop backwards and then things extend out of my fingers and then things extend out of those, and those just like jack into some ancient paneling inside the walker. And as it goes, then I think like my prairie dog body kind of like slumps down, and there's just these like long finger wires shoved into the walker, and I'm kind of like asleep in the corner, basically.
Love it. And so you start seeing, your mind is inside the walker, and it's obviously a disorienting sensation. You see your surroundings through like a green and black camera, like a very old-fashioned monitor almost. So everything is a bit stylized, lacks color and texture and so forth. But you have 4 legs as you had before, and you can turn your head and look around, and instead of laser eyes, you have a laser turret. So nothing much changed.
I just got big.
Exactly. So Azure is still inside, and you see Saffron being slumped to the side, and neither you can hear from behind you that the walker moved a little bit again.
I figure I gave Azure the briefest of heads up at least before doing this. But from outside, it'd be like, oh hey, they got the walker working.
And I guess you can communicate through speakers in the cabin. So if you want to say something, Azure will just hear it. And I guess you can. There are probably some kind of megaphones on the outside. You could even shout something to Nida if you wanted to. And Nida, at that moment, you see the barge emerging on the road.
All right. I'm going to peep at it through my scope. What do I see?
Well, you see a scrappy little pony pulling this gigantic barge behind it. And on the barge itself is partially covered by like tent-like structures and canvas and so forth.
Uh-huh.
But you do see one of the caravan guards, holding the reins.
So, how many days rations would a pony give us?
How good are you at butchery?
Yeah, exactly. I want to say if you know what you're doing, it's a week, like 1 sec.
Okay. In that case, I'm just going to stay in cover and stay in hiding. And, if the barge pulls in here, we can deal with it then. But the person I really want to have eyes on is the caravan leader, the Greenlander, the Cogflower.
Girondo Formatura.
Yeah.
While the barge is approaching the junction, so there's the junction where it goes north over the Rusty Bridge, and then south in the direction of the it's called the let's see, something crossing, the High Moon crossing. Girondo actually comes out of the tent-like structure and sits next to the guard.
Okay. This is one of those things where I just want to make sure I have a bead on him. Because my suspicion is without him, there's no reason for the caravan to keep going. The caravan guards can do whatever and they can leave the people. And if they don't want to do that, well, they can die screaming.
So
I'm just staying in cover, staying in the shrubs, basically making sure that I have my rifle trained on this dude.
So the barge passes the hill and moves further south. Pretty slow going because the pony is not very fast. You can see that the two of them, the guard and Formatura, are chatting with each other, but they don't seem to. They don't want to stop. It seems as if they are just continuing south.
So they're not coming in here to deal with the porcelain princes.
Doesn't look like it. I mean, you can see that Formatura once in a while is craning his head and looking in your direction, like roughly. But whatever their agreement is, it apparently was not to meet up here.
Interesting. All right. What do we want to do?
I mean, they still have the Greenlanders.
Yeah.
Heading somewhere.
Yeah.
As far as you know, they're heading towards the Porcelain Citadel.
I mean, I can stop their caravan cold by shooting that pony. I mean, they don't have another source of power as near as we can tell. I
They
mean,
could drag the thing down the
Yeah.
bank, but it would
but I mean, like Horst put it last time, it's like it needs some sort of beast of burden or whatever to make this work. So, do we want to engage or do we want to just let them go?
Well, we've got this porcelain Prince Walker, right?
Yeah.
We can paint it and sell it, or we can all bum rush this barge and fucking like. How are the guns? Like, are they like anti-personnel? Are they bigger than that? Could we take out the boat? Could we take out the barge theoretically?
Yeah,
Can
definitely.
they do precision shooting?
I mean, we don't want to kill the Greenlanders by drowning them. So, but it's just I just was curious about the scale.
That looks like serious guns. It's like the gun turrets on your on the truck. There's not much precision shooting with them.
Oh, so it's just like what do you call it? Artillery, kind of like.
Yeah, it's more artillery than than a sniper.
Okay, cool. Well, what do you guys think? I mean, I'm not really about strays. That's Nida's, protecting strays is Nida's deal. So, not that I'm dispassionate about it, but I guess we all agreed on helping them out, trying to stop this thing. So,
I mean, does Austin's care if they sell themselves into slavery?
Yes, he does care, but he's looking to you. You had the discussion last time where he said he would love to tell them what their fate is, and they should decide. And you said, let's kill the slavers and free the Greenlanders. But Austin takes accepts your seniority.
Well, why don't we shoot the donkey, and when they're disabled, we roll up with the walker and go, yo, unload your cargo, unload the Greenlanders, throw them in the friggin' AT-AT, and then we roll somewhere. If that's our goal, I mean, we can totally stick them up, we could totally do a highway robbery type joint. We've got enough armor to probably offset any kind of weaponry they have.
The caravan guards, they have these bolters, like bolt throwers.
Wait, they have giant crossbows?
They have like heavy crossbows, not giant crossbows.
Well, that wouldn't do anything to us, no, right?
Not in the walker. No.
Not in the walker, but
right. But no, what I'm saying, like, let's go do it. Let's go rob them. We'll tell them to unload the Greenlanders.
Horst, about how far away are they at this point?
They're probably the closest to you that they will ever be. So from they're like I don't know, 30 meters maybe.
I'm going to put a warning. I'm assuming that there's some sort of like decorative nonsense on this pony that they have that's like dragging the entire thing.
Mm-hmm.
I'm just going to put a bolt right through that stuff. So it doesn't affect their ability to move. And I'm going to yell, next one goes through the pony. I suggest you hold up.
So the shot rings, and I mean, what was it, Nida? What is there something like on the pony's head, or? It's
some sort of decorative. It's this cogflower nonsense.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, for all their talk of the profit for the profit,
Mhm.
They blow a lot of money on useless crap.
Okay.
And it's like this ornate, gilded, feathered headdress thing.
Yes, so it's the headdress, and maybe the feathers are even shaped in the form of a cockflower, and you just shoot it off. And immediately the caravan guard drops back while still keeping the reins, and he's not slowing down. And then there's two other of these bolt throwers sticking out of the tent.
So they're not slowing down?
They're not slowing down. They are accelerating.
All right. So I'm going to use my 1 per day, and I'm going to kill the pony.
Well, you used the 1 per day.
That's once per day, not once per session.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
You also used Ajax.
Yeah, that I did. So, okay, I'll roll for it.
Mm-hmm.
AV of 20, or excuse me, AV of 12.
To be honest, you're shooting it's not that the pony turned into a stallion or something. The pony is, for like a sharpshooter like you, it's not really a difficult target. It's probably more we're rolling to see if the pony drops dead or if it just injured and it can run for a couple of meters.
Okay.
I think I'm like starting to limber up a little bit. I'm just like doing 4-leg porcelain walker squats, like air squats. Like, how does this work?
All right.
Getting ready to run after them.
And everybody can see, hear the hydraulics of the walker.
And then, quick question: since I'm using my plasma sniper rifle, do I get to roll with advantage or not?
Yes, definitely.
Okay, so that's 2d20.
Mm-hmm.
Well, the first one was 7 under 12, so
the first one already hits. So
yeah.
What we see is that the pony just breaks down. It collapses, is immediately dead, and the barge is just floating.
And I yell, "I didn't want to do that. I just wanted to talk."
And you hear Formatore yelling back, "I'm listening. We're listening now."
Glad I got your attention. Yeah, the Greenlanders.
What about them?
Solid. Let them go. Whatever contract they signed, tear it up. Greenlanders give you your money back. You're good to go. We all walk away. It's a pretty sweet deal.
You hear muffled voices under the tent, and one of the Greenlanders comes out, her hands raised, and she says, "But what is in it for you?"
Not having you wind up at the broken line.
What is that? That's not what we signed up for.
Yeah, that's where the porcelain princes toss the bodies of the people they use. I worked there for a week.
What do you mean used?
Well, the porcelain princes bring bodies in so that they can transfer their consciousness into them. So that's why they need people. And once they've finished with your body, it gets dumped in the broken line, where it lays until it dies, and then it gets tossed into this pit.
Formatore interjects. That is nonsense. That is just some kind of urban myth. You will be working as waitresses and waiters and maybe picking fruits.
I was there. I worked there. I hauled bodies to that pit of people who looked a lot like you.
You can see that she's hesitating and turning around, and they start discussing again. What is the rest doing, Azure and Saffron?
I'm putting a rag in the hole in my shoulder.
Oh yeah.
I think I just start slow walk kind of towards the barge, like making the presence known.
Mm-hmm. So you can move between the hills towards the road.
Yeah.
Yeah. So Nida, you can see that the woman is wildly gesturing, and Formatore sticks his head out and also says something to her. And you can see, well, I don't know how effective your speech is. I mean, they trust Formatore because he has some position of authority, and you are, the you are the one who saved them. Do you think it makes sense to make a charisma check to see how effective your words are?
I wish I
know
didn't have
not
to because
just-
my charisma is 9, but yes, that makes sense.
I mean, you're like you have this very I don't know what's your persona, but it's not charming. It's not somebody the personality of somebody who is used to convince others, while Formatore is.
Yeah, I more like I basically have the personality of somebody who has been bad places and seen worse things and wants to prevent people from being there and experiencing that.
Exactly.
And a lot of times it's at the point of a gun. So that's where most of my persuasiveness comes from.
And a pointed gun can be very persuasive.
Is there anything that I can do here to gain advantage?
I don't know. I think if you could play on the fact that you have saved them and you have no reason to, betray them or to, to leave to lie to them. Why wouldn't you?
Do you think I kind of got that with basically saying we can all walk away from this, just let them go?
That is true. I do think that because they have been brought up in the religion of the Cockflower Church, where if you work hard enough, you will be
rewarded with profit by the prophet. God damn it.
And there's someone, not a religious figure, but a representative of the church next to them, whispering lies into their ear. I think it evens itself out.
I will yell at the barge, listen, we just saved you. We took you to a place where you were safe. We saved as many of you as we could. We didn't ask for anything. We have not asked for anything. We are not asking for anything now except for Signore to tear up that contract and give you your freedom. We're not asking for any money. We're not asking you to do anything for us. We're just saying, not the porcelain princess. You want to go be indentured servants someplace else, the satraps could probably use it. And the satraps aren't going to basically transfer their consciousness into your body, overriding every single thing that you ever were or could be, and then dumping you in a trash pit when they're done. So I don't know. Maybe that's a good thing the porcelain princes do. You won't have a consciousness left. So whatever happens to your body is just going to be happening to a piece of meat because you'll already be gone.
All right, you convinced me. Make your roll with advantage.
All right. Ooh, 17 and 18, not even close.
Yeah, I think I don't know if we have established whether or not Ada stayed behind or went with them. Let's say she went with them. She comes out again, her hands raised, and she says, "Neither. I respect your judgment. I think in this case you're just misled. We are not. We won't be possessed. I know that this is something that can happen, but Formatora promised us that we will have decent work. There is a chapel where we can pray to our God. If something fishy happens, I swear I will make everything in my power to get them out of there. But you know, there's promise of work. There's promise of community. There's promise of safety after we traveled so long. Please, neither leave us alone. Save some other travelers."
I want to flip over to the thermal scope and see if I can pinpoint Signore.
Yes. I mean, yeah, I think you can, because you know where he was. He hid under the the front part of the barge, where he's still at. Next to him is the caravan guard with the bolt thrower. And you can see that he's crouched and he's still talking and gesturing to the others.
Meta level. Chris, Abe, you okay if I pull the trigger?
Fucking let me know. You know?
I was going to offer to spout on about legalities and contracts and cogflower stuff.
I mean,
if we want to buy time.
I mean, if you want to do that, go ahead. That sounds awesome.
Black gold industrialist.
Yeah, absolutely. That sounds like it'd be delightful. Go for it.
I think it's in this weird like robot monotone over the speaker because it's not my voice getting amplified. I'm not speaking because my body's in a heap. It's this like synthesized voice coming out, and it's like you talk of promises, but the contract is the only thing that matters to the church and to the princes. Is it in the contract? If it's not in the contract, they can do anything they want, and they will.
Ida turns around, climbs into the barge, and gets the contract out. And she shouts, up to you. It says servitude, like it just says service.
Then you have no protection. Promises are made to be broken.
You can definitely see that you, there's a talking four-legged that has a certain authority. And I mean, you have your legal background, obviously. A couple of, I want to say 2 or 3 other Greenlanders come out now, and you can see that there's like some kind of heated discussion about the topic.
Signore does a disservice to the church, which we both follow, by relying on deception instead of clearly explained terms in commerce. Money is to be made through effort and hard work and careful ventures and risk taken on willingly, not lies to sell you into the worst forms of slavery.
I mean, that sounds very convincing.
It's at this point, it's more of a threat to him than necessarily convincing them. It's just like,
Yeah, it's pretty hilarious.
I'm giving Signore a reason why we're about to blow his brains out.
I mean, this could still work. You could still talk him into, like, tearing up the contract.
Maybe. I'm viewing this almost more as flavor on what we're about to do rather than me making a roll that will succeed. Because we failed a charisma check to try to convince the Greenlanders. Maybe this is me trying to convince Signore.
Could be.
Most likely, considering my charisma is not great, although maybe I could argue I have advantage because of cogflower stuff.
That and the gigantic guns you're pointing at.
Yeah.
Very effective negotiating position.
Yeah. But I'm kind of assuming that this is mostly flavor on us blowing a hole in Signore than...
Yeah,
while all this is going on, I am taking very careful aim and, like, checking the wind and everything like that. So, yeah, I'm doing everything I can to set up this shot with advantage. Take it.
I think I actually don't think it is a charisma check. I think it is more how much does Signore Formatore loves his life, because he sees that he cannot win a fight against a porcelain walker. The question is how many people. So he wants. You can see that he gets up. He holds his hands up, comes out as well, and says, "All right, all right, all right. Whoever wants to go should go. Please go. Leave me alone." And he says that to the Greenlanders. Go, leave the barge. Fuck off. The contract is null and void, and he tears the contract apart. And I think that the Greenlanders will, now that there's no legal frame anymore, they will leave the barge. Maybe some of them disgruntled, others confused, and Formatore will climb back into the barge, and I think his final statement is, "I don't know who you are," shouting towards the walker, "but you won. I mean, I'm out of here. Leave us alone. You clearly have some kind of cogflower affiliation. I don't want to know what it is. There's profit to be made everywhere in the grasslands. So, see ya, I guess." And barge. Well, I think that the 4 caravan guards will get out, take the reins, and drag the barge away slowly.
As they leave, I yell from the brushes, "May the prophet lead you to profit."
You can see that Formatore was shaking his fist while the barge is slowly disappearing in the purple twilight.
Just the image of the lone dude getting dragged by some guards down a barge is so pathetic that I'm okay with this.
Well, the 9 Greenlanders. How many are there? There are 6, a half a dozen. They stand there, a bit confused.
Let's hire them. Let's hire them for the caravan, because we took their job away. At least they're gonna not get fucking be slaved up and thrown into a pit.
Yeah, I don't know if they see it that way, but obviously you're true. That is true.
Well, I mean, I'm just positing that to the crew here.
Oh, okay.
You know what I mean? Like, what do you guys think?
Take them to Spectrum Palace, I guess, or Spectrum Run or something.
Would they get work there? I mean, we just fucking took food out of their mouth, even though it was for their own damn good. But
I mean, we've got the pony, so that's short term. But hang on a second, let me look at the map, because I think the next best place is scrolling down. There's Glass Bridge, 3 Sticks. So we are.
Yeah, Glassbridge is Red Bear Village, and 3 Sticks is the Jade Baobab.
So one upside of making Signore crap his pants is I think the Greenlanders all kept their signing bonus.
Mm-hmm.
So they maybe came out ahead.
They've got some stuff. They've got some seed capital.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, we could totally offer to be like, hey, we will be on the road and we can take you wherever you want.
I mean,
for your own journey.
Within reason. I mean, I'm not going to take them to the Porcelain Palace. We're not going backward.
Sure. Like, we're going in this direction. You are welcome to come with us.
Do you say that to them?
I'm with it.
Yeah.
Like if we, I'm picturing this as like we kind of like all meet back up, and maybe they're like scattered around, and some of them come up to us, and we're like,
yeah. So there's this old campfire that was burned down, but the Greenlanders go there, rekindle the flame, and you can reconvene inside the walker.
Yeah, I think it's like we still have business to attend to here, but once we're back on the road, you're welcome to come with us if you want to head.
So Ada says, well, in that case, if you could get us to Spectrum Palace, maybe we can find work there. Maybe we can invest the money that we made to buy some trade goods. Maybe we could buy trade goods at the Jade Baobab.
That seems eminently reasonable. the walker bellows.
I'm just gonna kind of make a gas face, like I don't know if they got any trade goods you want to buy, but you do you.
She said maybe.
So, what do you do from now? So the Greenlanders could be transported in these compartments on the back of the walker if you wanted to, or they could walk. It's not a long trip to the Jade Baobab if that is where you want to go.
Don't we have the caravan back at the Jade Baobab?
Yeah, so the rest of the caravan is somewhere.
The rest of the caravan is on the way to the Spectrum Palace. You only have the truck, but the truck is with you.
That's right.
Yeah, because Saffron, I think, is like, we have powerful transportation. I would be in favor of investigating the beach one more time before we leave.
That's Vicar's ear, right?
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely.
Yeah, let's do it. What's a gelatinous cube gonna do to us in this thing?
Wait a minute, that was over at the other
Yes,
Pike
that
or whatever.
was on the yeah, that's right. That was in
Fairy Graves.
Very great.
That's right.
So do you I mean, in the Walker, you are pretty damn movable, or whatever the word. Like, you can traverse every terrain you can imagine. The truck, however, is a bit less movable in that respect. So if you want to, you could travel north again over the Rusty Bridge, and then traverse the two rivers again, which was a pain in the ass, if you remember. You could, or you could take the ferry. I think that's the two obvious ways to get there.
Could the walker cross the river without
Yes, the walker could. I mean, the walker wouldn't be able to cross the Rusty Bridge, but you could you could walk into the water and then on the shore across the river there. And crossing the other two rivers wouldn't be a problem, but the truck was obviously a pain in the ass.
Maybe we want to either hide the truck down here somewhere, or take it back to Jade Baobab and be like, "Hey, we're leaving this for a bit. We'll be back."
Do you want
to say goodbye?
Who's the guy that's with us that was looking?
Austin's.
You want to have Austin's take the truck back?
So here's a thought, and let me know how this works for you, Horst. Since Nathan can't make it this week, do we want to take Austin's with us and have Sarko guard the truck?
Yes, there is definitely a way to do it. We could even, like, this is all meta level, obviously a writer's room approach, which I'm normally not a big fan of, but we could say that Sarko takes the truck on the ferry to Vicar's Beach, and then you're all reunited.
Oh, that's cool.
Okay.
Hey, Horst, I put a question to you in the chat just when you have.
Okay. Ooh, yes, I think it was 5.
That's what I thought too. I just wanted to make sure because I realized I don't have that.
You haven't written it down, yeah? It was a pretty.
Yeah, it was pretty significant. I remember that. Is there any way to heal up on the way? Is there like a healing shower in the porcelain walker?
No, somebody would have to bind your wounds, which normally is like a task role. You're like, somebody should do it who knows what they're doing.
Could one of the Greenlanders do it? Do any of them have the skill?
Yeah, it's fair to assume that one of them will have some basic knowledge of how to treat wounds.
You can roll for it if you want.
Yeah, I will roll for it. They are, let's say, level 2, which gives their better attribute 12. So let's roll. How do we do that? And that is a 2. So your wound is bound up, so you're not bleeding out, and you will recover 1 HP during the night.
Okay, thanks. So are these guys level 2 dumbasses?
I wouldn't call them dumbasses, but yeah, they're level 2 NPCs.
So is that 1 HP every night that we're on the road? Okay.
Yes.
So
nice.
Okay, I just wanted to double check, because if that's the case, I mean, otherwise we've got like the VC healing lotions that we can use, but
yes, as well. So you're traveling north, is that true? So Austin's takes the truck.
Sarko.
Sarko takes the truck. He also takes the Greenlanders, or are you taking the Greenlanders with you?
Well, I mean, it's safer for if we're going to go all off road and start shooting stuff up. It's probably safer for them to be in the walker. They can just sit in the back in the bedroom, in the extra bedrooms, and they're safe and sound. So, like, if they're on the truck, though, they can get took out.
Yeah, but there's an upside if Sarko can drop them off at the Jade Baobab or somewhere within the civilized portion of
Right. Yeah,
that sounds much
you're right.
better for them versus hanging out in the back quarters of the walker while we delve into some ruins.
Sounds good.
But the promise is that he will take them on the ferry to Vicar's Beach eventually, so that you can all travel to the Spectrum Palace. I think that is what you promised them.
Yes.
Oh, I figured we would probably come back.
Yeah, pick them up
around anyway. I guess maybe this is me holding the map in my head. Is I figured it was kind of on the way back. Like we're doubling back to go to Vicar's Ear, and we'll kind of have to come back again.
Not necessarily. It's completely up to you. But there is the road from Vicar's Ear. There is this road, in on the tree line, that leads west, and that would eventually get you to, I think. Let me see. That will get you to.
Oh yeah. Okay.
Trees, and then from the refracting trees to the Spectrum Palace.
Because the Jade Baobab is on the east side, which is 3 sticks. We'd be closer to the Gallgrass by going to Vicar's Ear.
Yes.
Okay.
I think otherwise, I mean, gotcha. you could travel back. I think it would just be longer. Let's see, it's 1 week. That's 3 weeks. 4 weeks. It would be 6 weeks to Spectrum Palace if you travel via the Jade Baobab, and it's 1, 2, 3 weeks if you go west from Vicar's Ear.
Gotcha. So yeah, then we are probably wanting to head out. Well, I think we would be like, hey, take care of whatever you want to in the Jade Baobab. Meet up with us at Vicar's Ear, which would then explain, Nathan joins us next week.
And Zarko will take them to Vicar's Ear.
Yeah, on the ferry.
All right. So Saffron is the walker. How do you plan to cross the canyon of the Red River?
Good question. It'll be an adventure as I learn how to finally manipulate my porcelain legs. I think it might be one of those things where for me, it won't necessarily be that bad. It's whether I can do it in a way that doesn't make life hell for everyone riding along.
Yeah, it's a weird experience, like when you were transferred to the cybernetic dog body, you had to adjust to the fact that now you have 4 feet all of a sudden, and your head is much lower than normal. So I guess that the step from cybernetic dog to giant porcelain walker is less jarring. But there is this, I don't know, there's an element of the magical, the old magitech nature of the thing that is definitely affecting you. But my question was more like, you can't cross the Rusty Bridge. So the Rusty Bridge has these potholes. It is sturdy enough, but it's no way sturdy enough to support a porcelain walker. It was barely enough to support the truck after everybody, exited the truck to walk.
I imagine there's probably somewhere along the canyon walls where I'd be able to essentially scuttle down the walls and then go like along the river or through the river a ways and find a place where we can climb back up.
Mm-hmm.
It might take a while to find those spots, but
yeah. So I think it's fair to say that you move probably towards the lake because the canyon gets like shallower and shallower that way. And then there's definitely towards the mouth of the river a less steep canyon wall that you can indeed skittle down, and then walk up or climb up the other side. But it will be close to the shoreline of the lake itself.
okay, so we'll basically end up going with the truck most of the way to Xiaobao.
Yes, more or less,
Yeah.
exactly. When you climb up the canyon wall on the other side, you can see that there are a couple of canoes, and you're familiar enough with the Three Sticks Lake that you can see that these are canoes from Red Bear village, and people have some kind of goods that they move out of the canoes. When you move west, there is on the shoreline this minimalist ruins. Let's see. I think I've described them before, but just to remind you. Let's see. Rusty Bridge, that shore. So there's a low tumbled shoreline of spare minimalist ruins. And then further north, you can see the place where in between these ruins, there was this weird gray glowing portal that transported you to a different time. And north of that is are the rose towers, delicate rose tinted, really tall towers made from land coral, and they are amidst a devastated morass of towers that have tumbled and overgrown with slimes and molds. Traveling in the Walker is definitely like faster than with a truck. So I think you can travel for a day and you reach the what's it called, the Garnet Fort. So where you picked up the Greenlanders, and it's this wide river where the water is flowing relatively slowly, so the walker can actually pretty safely travel through the water. I mean, at some stage, Saffron will be tired just from operating the thing, and Nida and Azure, you both. Let's see. So it has been some weeks now, and probably the players don't remember, and the characters maybe don't remember either. But something happened at the Gall Grass, and I think probably Azure will feel it first. After traveling the whole day, you feel worse than before. And it's not so much that your shoulder is aching. I think that was taken care of pretty expertly. but you have a sore throat. You have a sore throat, and you don't regenerate an HP.
Well, that sucks. All right. If it's just a sore throat, in character, I don't think I'd mention anything.
Mm-hmm.
So.
And Nida, you feel weakened as well after one day of travel. And there's something with your neck.
I mean, it's all that time I spent on the hill, just like looking down the barrel of a gun. I'm not surprised. Necks are not meant to be craned at that ankle. I mean, that's a lot of stress.
That is true.
I also remember that isn't the gall grass where you found that caravan that had basically just vanished?
Yes. You found desecrated bodies.
Desecrated or desiccated? Like they were drained of fluids?
Dried up, yeah. Drained of fluids.
Desiccated.
Desiccated.
So, yeah, as we're getting close to that, I kind of point that out and say we probably don't want to stop here.
Yeah, the gall grass is far to the east. Sorry, it's far to the west.
To the west.
To the west. It will be beyond Vicar's Ear. You will arrive at Vicar's Ear before you arrive at the gall grass valley. I know that the map is not helping.
Is this the same type of weirdness that led to Saffron having the double brain sort of out of sync moment?
No, it's you feel physically weak.
The out of sync thing was a magnetism tower thing somewhere.
Yes, that was these copper green hued machines, whatever they were. Time dilation.
Time dilation, that's what it was.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well,
so this is new for us?
This is pretty new for us.
Yeah.
For you. But you can explain it by, Azure is short, Nida, maybe just there's something with the neck. Maybe there was like a wind draft or something. All right. So the next day after Saffron, how does it look like when you rest?
I was going to say I want to have that brief window into what happens at end of the day for Saffron, which I'm imagining Saffron is still this collapsed prairie dog pile in the corner.
Mm-hmm.
And I think you just hear the internal speaker in the walker being for the ease of maintaining control, I should stay connected. Could one of you please grab a blanket and shove it under me? Also, pour some water and food down my mouth.
I'll take care of it.
Thank you very much.
When Azure takes care of Saffron's body, is it like tough love? Is it does Azure have a tender side?
Oh yeah, I mean not tender, but I mean I don't really know how I'm going to feed them unless I grab by the top of the head and the jaw and masticate for them. So I think I'll just stick with water.
Yeah, I think it's all of the autonomic responses are still present in Saffron's prairie dog body. So you put water in my mouth, I'll swallow it. You put some oatmeal in my mouth, I'll slurp it down.
Okay. All right. So in that case, yes.
And Nida and Azure, there's the cockpit, so to speak, and it has this two pilotty chairs, and there's theoretically room to sleep on the floor, but there's also these slightly more luxurious compartments on the back of the walker, where you can at least strap yourself in.
Yeah, I mean, Saffron's awake and at the helm with giant guns, so I think we're okay. safety wise. So I think I'll I'll take my shot up arm and go turn in.
Mm-hmm.
I would appreciate the opportunity to power down for at least some portion of the night.
Yeah, I'll
Sure.
take watch.
Thank you.
Did we happen to find anything in this in the walker, food, anything like that?
I think it's fair to assume that the princess had some rations stored there, and given the fact that they had to travel back to the porcelain citadel, let's say it's D6 weeks of rations.
Alrighty.
Should I roll this?
Oh, why not?
Let's do. It's five rations. All right. So the next day, when Saffron wakes up and travels further west, so you cross the Garnet Ford, and you reach the higher Spine Woods. Let's read out how it looks like. So they're massive, stocky trees with needles sharp as daggers. And when you travel the higher Spine Woods, occasionally you see some tower flicker into existence. But it's just momentarily. And then when you travel further west, let's look at the map. Yeah, you cross the Teal River. There are these three boulders. If you remember them, I think we had established that they. Can you guys remember? They had the face of these elders carved into them, and the faces seemed to distort. Like it would start normal and distorts even further when you go around the boulder. These boulders are inside the Wild River, and when you cross the Teal River, oh yeah, you actually come across the these big green structures. I always describe them as whale-like, so they're teardrop-shaped and really big, and like lying on the hill west of the river. And Saffron, could you make a saving throw, please?
Sure.
Unless you prepare somewhere somehow, you're approaching the structures that caused these weird effects on your brain the last time. I don't know if you want to avoid them.
Since Saffron's consciousness is in a fully mechanical form right now, would it still affect it?
Yeah,
it's pretty similar to my normal self, which is kind of this weird mechanical organic hybrid.
I was curious because of the brains.
Yeah. Or it affects my real brains, which are kind of jacked into and
yeah, that's how I see it.
The water.
Yeah, the brains are still powering or operating the walker.
Just not my body.
Mm-hmm.
So did you want to have us prepare anything for you? Or?
I mean, this is how much did we consult our notes before heading back towards Vicar's ear?
Yeah,
question.
I think it is fair to assume before you make the saving throw that you have at least the option to avoid the route altogether, because you do remember you see them from the other side of the river, these three structures, and you can say, hell no, I'm taking a different route.
I mean, I would be I think the honest answer is I would be probably somewhat likely to be like, okay, I am piloting, I'm like interfacing into this weird walker. I'm not in a normal state of self.
I'm safe.
Well, no, almost more the opposite of like, if something fucks me up, the consequences are greater than if I'm just like in the back of the truck.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I lose my shit or pass out or start hallucinating when I'm just a little prairie dog in the back of the truck, it's not that big a deal.
If you're a massive lumbering laser turreted beast with 2 people inside, different story.
Yeah, 3, yeah, plus my body.
Mm-hmm.
So I think I would be a little more hesitant, where I'd be like,
so what you could do is you could either like move over the terrain, like north of these structures, leave the road. You would be in a forest more or less, either in the higher spine woods or the hare woods. Or you circumvented south, walking through the water, more or less. So you would you could follow the Teal River to the lake.
I mean, I'm pretty comfortable at this point with fording rivers as the walker, and that might be the faster of the 2 ways to bypass this. What are Nida and Azure feeling? I think I raised this internally, like for the sake of everyone's safety, we should avoid those and move around.
Yeah, let's do it. No need to take on unnecessary danger. Bad enough as it is.
I mean,
yeah,
I could blow them up if you want. We've got grenades.
They're pretty big, but
I think we would need this. Like, yeah, we need like.
Wait, what about our
and dynamite? And
what about our cannons? Can we just fucking pound them with our weaponry?
I do not know what they actually are. I don't. That
they could be holding something inside for all we know, like something worse.
They could become angry.
What if they got glass jaws though, and like they're full of money or other exciting things?
So from the other side of the river, you can have a look at these things. They're described as such. The pale green patinated hulls look like beached whales on the gently sloping western shore of the Teal River estuary. All around them lie scattered and fragmented, splintering grow-bone struts of some great biological town or resort. Aside from the patina, the hulls look eerily untouched by time. There are no discernible doors on the cover hulls.
I would still lean towards not fucking with them.
I'm good with that.
Yeah, so I guess from that description, is there a reasonable path around them going like along the lakefront?
Yes.
Okay.
On the lakefront, let's see, you would So the only problem I can see is that you have to walk for some time in the water because the road will be higher up. You have to pass through the water the three Styx towers and the mouth of the Sky River. So you would probably have to walk the rest of the journey through water.
Oh, okay, because like so we would for the Teal River we'd cross where the weird face boulders were.
Yes.
Which was kind of like rapids, but because of having really long legs and being heavy, we're probably fine.
Yes.
And then the rest of it we'd kind of be off-roading.
Yes, you would be the whole time in the water with the cliffs of the three Styx towers and the canyon of the Sky River. All right. So when you enter the water, you can definitely feel that there's the floor of the water is obviously not completely even. There are boulders lying. It can be sandy and a bit tricky. So I would say that definitely warrants a dexterity check to see how quick you move through the water, how quickly. And if it fails horribly, you probably get stuck.
All right. Let's see. Not good. That's a 17.
All right. So I would say that probably
maybe I could argue advantage for cybernetics, but my cybernetic prairie dog group is applied to my dex, which is how I'm piloting this in the first place, I guess. Is
definitely yeah. It's what drives your what drives the walker is your positronic brain. Yeah. If that is next to dexterity, definitely.
Okay. I don't. My odds are still bad of succeeding because I have a 6, 15. So less bad, but
less bad. So I think what happens is I think that the legs just got stuck on either or both, like sand that is sucking the feet in, and then boulders rolling over it. So you're definitely trapped in the water, and it doesn't seem that you can move further. And neither in Azure. The walker is moving very unsteady for a moment, and you're shaking in the cockpit. Saffron, do you say anything?
I think you just hear like some monotone grunts as I like attempt to yank my legs out.
I'll sigh, climb out the roof of the cockpit, tie a rope to the walker's head and try to look over to see if I can see anything down there that's stopping us.
Yeah, you can see that the surface of the water, and that's the extent of how far you can see. So let's say it's late afternoon, which is you can actually see the surface of the water. There's no purple glow, purple haze. But the water is not particularly clean or clear.
I yell into the cockpit. Saffron, are we stuck?
A little bit.
Define a little bit. That's kind of a yes or no question.
Yes.
I sigh. Come on, Azure. We're going swimming.
Okay. I open up the. How deep is the water, Horst?
You don't know. I mean, oh yeah, yes, you do know because you can see how much the leg sticks out of the water. It must be at this place where you got stuck, close to the shore. Let's say 6 meters.
Okay, so about 18
20
feet.
feet. 20 feet
Yeah.
deep.
Yeah.
I open the door and jump into the water.
It is freezing. It is freezing cold, and your clothes are immediately dragging you down.
Oops.
I'm just getting how long I've got. I mean, the rope I've got, I figure will at least get me into the water from the
Yes.
head. So I'm just going to basically dive in and grab Azure and start trying to pull ourselves up.
Mm-hmm.
And at the very least, Azure can climb up the rope. I mean,
Definitely. Wet as a wet dog.
oh, that's okay. Azure smells better, I'm sure.
I don't know about that. I've been in this fucking armor for a long time.
Look, and we've been in this walker for a few days. So as you kind of surface, I ask you if you saw anything in there before you started getting swept away or drunk, pulled under.
Yeah, under the water, you have seen that the leg of the walker is submerged into the sand, and that a boulder rolled over it.
All right, I passed that on to the team. There's a boulder stuck on trapping one of the legs. That's what's happening with us. So
all right. Can you move the boulder by yourself, or do you need Austin's and I to shoot at it a little bit and see if we can break it up for you?
Well, it's cold as fuck down there. Is it like literally freezing? Like, would it be dangerous for me to be down there for very long?
Yeah, for very long it would be dangerous, but it's just really, really cold.
Okay, so all right, so that I could go down there and check out the situation and see what I could do. So yeah, I'll take maybe this time I'll take the rope, and then I'll I'll rappel down, or I'll walk down the side of the ladder and then swing over. Since my armor is dragging me down, that'll help me get to the rock faster.
True.
I'll tug on the rope when it's time to pull me up.
Do we have any winches on this thing that we can use to help us? So it's not like me and my not very strong strength trying to pull Azure up.
I think it's you and Austin's, and I guess I don't know. Saffron could probably help by raising their head if the rope is attached to the head.
So just like my physical use of the body rather than a mechanical tool. Okay.
So, Azure, when you dive down, you can see to your left how the seabed is going further down, and then way down to the left, there seem to be like dozens and dozens of lights underwater. And it could be, it's difficult to say what it is. It is some kind of artificial lights. It's not like luminescent fish or anything. And it's stationary. But when you get close to the boulder, you think that with your strength, you should be able to move it.
All right. So I'm gonna put my back against the leg, and I'm going to use my legs to push the boulder off to get that extra leverage.
Nice. So we have already established that you have superhuman strength. So why don't you make a strength check with advantage?
Got them both. I rolled a 3 and a 13. My strength is what, 14? Yeah. All right.
Yes.
So yeah, I got it.
Nice. So, and Saffron, you can immediately feel that your leg is able to move again. And I assume that Nida pulls Azure out of the water. And
Well,
with the help,
I forgot I'm really strong. I could just pull myself up, right?
yeah, you can.
I thought we would just leave Azure in the water for a little bit, like we were going fishing or something. See if anybody nibbled.
You can do that, definitely.
I'll just pull myself back
That
up.
was a joke.
So okay,
All right.
I get back up there. I'm like, and I communicate to the team. There's the boulder's gone. We're good, but there's a bunch of these lights over to the left, and it goes. The riverbed goes down, and way down at the bottom, I saw a bunch of lights. They weren't natural lights. They were definitely man-made.
Is
Like
that
going off into the lake? Because
was that close
I've
to where we
seen this
pulled the
before.
Greenlanders out? Those tunnels that went down?
No, these are the landing strip. This feels reminiscent of the landing strip lights that we saw when we crossed in the canoes.
Yeah, Saffron saw that before.
Long ago.
Mm-hmm.
At this point. There is some sort of construct or something under the lake.
That's what's having those weird things go up on the beach at Iron Pike, isn't it?
Possibly. What were the weird things at Iron Pike? I think that would be.
They were these entities, these bodies that emerged from underwater, and they tried to take these tribes people at Iron Pike into the lake.
Yes, quite possible.
And you do know that the cold worms is a threat everywhere in Three Sticks. Like at Jade Baobab and at Red Bear, they also mentioned these, that they can't go fishing without being afraid of being pulled into the lake. Do you move west? Do you investigate the lights?
I'm curious, is there any way we can make this walker watertight or waterproof?
You have a hole in the windshield.
I mean, you don't think that without like major preparation you would be able to turn it into a submarine.
Is it possible for Saffron to dog paddle? You know, like stick the head up so it's not in the water, but it kind of kicks
it's a little heavy.
I think the difference between a porcelain walker and a dog is that the walker is a few times heavier.
All right.
In relation to the size. But yeah, the visual is pretty amazing.
So I think those lights are going to be extra credit. We need to get the Greenlanders out of here, and we need to, see if we can find another body for Saffron's mom, right? Do we want to go investigate some mystery lights in the ocean? It sounds like a bad move.
I don't see us having a great way to investigate it, and it's like the definition of a rabbit hole under the lake.
Literally a rabbit hole.
Not to mention the fact that it's hard to breathe underwater.
Yeah.
I mean, you do have the two like radiation suits. Diving suits. Maybe something to reconsider. to consider at some stage. But if you move west, you will pass the like a especially tall cliff with the three prism. They're described as let's see. At the beating, vibrant heart of the region are three prismatic soul accumulators known as the Three Sticks. They ascend 200 vibrant and vibrating meters from the moss and flower-bedecked cliffs of the western shore of the Three Sticks Lake. I guess the northern shore. In the vicinity of the Three Sticks, there's always like strange weather phenomena. So when you approach them, let's see, I rolled a d6. I roll a 2. And you can see that they are surrounded by these dust and small particles in the air that whirl around them in some kind of static storm. Which slows you down even further, Saffron. So in this storm of whirling particles, you pass the cliffs and the mouth of the Sky River. Let's see. Where's my map? Oh, here. And I think at the evening of the third day, you arrive at Vicar's Beach. And Vicar's Beach is a large half-sunken bay, stretches along the northern shore of the Three Sticks. Multicolored gravel dunes have been cemented into solid bulwarks and mounds of eerie, half-meaningful shapes, the shapes that somehow triggered that subroutine in Saffron's brain. Especially from the air. So you looked at it from the road to the north. The whole beach looks like the shards of a machine mind trying to recreate a meaningful social experience from the detritus of an aristocratic picnic. And that half-meaningful shape triggered something.
Could you repeat that? Because that sounded like those were all words in English, but that sentence made absolutely no sense. It was just like a hallucination in language.
Well, I rephrase it.
Okay.
The shapes itself, when looked from above, which you don't do at the moment, but what Saffron did a couple of sessions ago, seem to hint at some kind of meaningful shape or half meaningful shape as it is. It seems to communicate some kind of information, but the information is not for human minds, it's for machine minds. And that is what puzzled Saffron the first time they saw it. You can also see all of you, let's see. So you can see in the middle of these multicolored dunes that have been like compressed into certain weird shapes is what we would call the what's it called, the antenna of like an observatory. It's like a cemented upwards pointing bowl, let's say. You can also see that there is again something like a sewage pipe, maybe that leads straight down, or that sticks out of the water. and you can see movement on the beach from movement and sound from some kind of big machine that is moving between the dunes. And the last thing I say, and then you can finally act, you also remember that when you looked at it from above, there were these, like the observatory was surrounded by colonnaded oval courtyards. So at the heart of Vicar's Beach is a pile of gloriously colonnaded oval courtyards surmounted by an inverted dome mounted on great stone supports.
All right, Saffron, what do we do?
I have a feeling that there's some way to get inside or open it up. But I'm not sure.
Do you want us to go down and be eyes for you?
I might, at this point, go down and have a stretch in my normal form.
All right. You need a few minutes to adjust to being back in your normal form after doing this for a few days?
Yeah, probably for the best.
Is there any way for Saffron to educate us on how the dashboard works? Like, would she have picked up knowledge, or would they have picked up knowledge that they could?
I don't think they know. They have nothing to do with the dashboard. It's they move their right arm, right leg, and the right leg moves, and they move their head. So interface.
So they're basically plugged in at the nervous system level.
Yes,
like it's just automatic.
So I think the kind of my view on this is the dashboards and stuff are all things that the Porcelain Princes retrofitted on top of the ancient tech.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm using none of that.
Yes.
Basically.
Got it. Interesting. Is there any like chamber with like a pot or a colander with a hose sticking out of it, maybe, that we could put on our head to take over?
No.
Oh, okay.
I don't know. You don't know how the princes did it.
All right. Fair enough.
Saffron, as you come out of it, I kind of crouch down next to you and say, "You're really getting a lot of experience with your religious doctrine of moving the soul from one body to another, aren't you?"
Yeah. Kind of. This was different. It's a little hard to explain because
I'm meat.
Yeah, the walker is not. There's no intelligence. It wasn't me. So other times when I've done this, to commune with another machine, it's a conversation. This was attaching my brains onto this body.
So it's the difference between negotiating with somebody at gunpoint and just using the gun.
I must admit I don't fully get the analogy, but yeah.
Do you think that your mom could pilot the walker?
He just kind of pauses and is like, "That's a bigger question."
Okay.
bluntly, there's a difference between my brains operating something and a soul.
Oh. So you needed your body to have your soul in it so that your brain could operate the walker.
You need a physical manifestation of the cognition.
Gotcha. Okay. It was just a thought. Just
Interesting thought.
well,
Potentially mildly heretical, but interesting.
what can I say? I'm a Philistine, right? And I smile.
Do we have any other consciousnesses in any sort of snails or salamanders or anything?
If we have the the salamanders potentially have some ability to do some amount of interfacing.
Whatever happened to the salamanders mating?
I think that went nowhere.
Well, they mated. It takes you throw 3 moms at a situation, you don't get a baby in 3 months. So, so you can't rush it.
You can't hurry love. You just have to wait.
You just have to wait.
Is there a well, if I switch over to my salamander, I have to do that for a day, right?
Yes. But we can say it's now evening. If you want to, I don't know, meditate for the night, then the next day you would be able to use cataract.
Yeah, but then I lose my ESP, which kind of sucks. I mean, it's kind of a crapshoot, and we already have somebody who can drive this damn thing. So, and then do I get a point back because it's another night, or am I still sick?
Actually, you lose 1 HP and neither as well. And now you both feel that there's some sore spot on your neck.
Crap. I'm down to 3. I don't want to die from a common cold.
I will toss you one of my UV healing lotions.
Oh, the healing lotion is the UV lotion is healing?
Yes.
VC healing lotion restores 2d6 life or 1 stat point.
Oh, well, I have 5 UV lotions. Can I use that?
You can definitely use one of them.
Well, that's what
there's the UV lotion, and then there's the VC healing, whatever. UV, I think, is for the sun.
Healing. Yeah, it was like UV lotion. Okay, so yeah, let me. Oh, you have a shit ton. Let me get one of those VC healing lotions.
Yes, we have.
I wouldn't call it a shit ton, but
enough.
80's a lot.
No, that's how much the value is.
Oh, and you have.
Yeah, if you look at your UV lotion, the value of that is 5.
Oh, okay.
So the VC healing lotion costs 40 per.
Right, and we only have 2 of them, right?
We're down 3 total. I have 1 left.
All right, so great.
We need to restock now that we have infinite money.
Yes.
Mm-hmm, mm-hmm.
All right, so let me get one of those. I'll roll 2d6.
All right, I have adjusted it to 1 on my sheet. So go ahead and use that. And then, Horst, I'm curious. With the crystal snail that I've been dragging around since the first month,
Yes.
is there enough of Satrap 88's consciousness left in that to operate the walker on a sort of autopilot?
I don't think so. I mean, what is stored in there is not so much Satrap 88's personality as
it's the memories.
Memories between
from the last backup, yeah.
Exactly.
And it's how much we take my musings about the walker as world canon is just like a soul or like data backup isn't what you need to run the walker.
Mm-hmm.
The walker doesn't have like a computer that you could like slot something into.
Yeah.
I showed up for a Saturday morning RPG, and a discussion on ontology and epistemology broke out.
It's more like the nervous system analogy, I think, is kind of the better comparison, where it's like there's a spinal cord and you can like tap into it, but you need some brain or computer to actually run it.
So you need to perform a spinal tap?
Quote unquote spinal tap.
Yeah, probably. Well, before we crank it to 11, what do you do?
Well, how did Azure do with the healing?
Oh, yeah.
I'm maxed out.
Nice.
So I am fully ready to go and punch the crap out of everything. And shoot stuff with my
I think as far as dealing with the walker goes is best case we'll have enough breathing room where we can figure out a better way of running it or a more flexible way of running it, but we don't necessarily need to figure that out now.
Mm-hmm.
Because worst case, we need to escape and I can do it, or I, pack a VC healing lotion and then redo it. So it's not the end of the world if we have to, just do the same thing to get out of here again. Mm-hmm. But if we have like some spare time, we can break out your salamander Azure and try to see if we can interface with it a different way.
Yeah, totally. Yeah. Not today. But
you can learn the controls. It just takes time. Mm-hmm. Like you would have to.
Yeah, we can brute force learning the Porcelain Prince's dashboards.
Yes,
is the third way that we could.
Mm-hmm. So, do you? At the moment, the situation is you're still in the water, or maybe just moved onto the beach, and you see before you these strange structures, and in the midst of it, the inverted dome.
A what?
An inverted dome, like a antenna.
Right.
Big bowl.
Mm-hmm. And there was movement on the beach, and the sound of some big machinery. Do you want to, spend the night in some capacity, or do you want to use the cover of the night to approach the structure?
I don't know. I mean, I guess there's the question of whether we think the bulldozer thing is a threat.
I mean, Saffron, you have because you have operated the walker. You do know that there's like a structural problem with being attacked by a bulldozer that ramming at full speed at your legs because the center of mass is so high.
Yeah. I wonder if maybe it's retconning a little, but I wonder if I would have like knelt down to park for longer, like picture like a deer or a horse kind of kneeling down onto elbows.
Mm-hmm. That's not retconning at all. That makes total sense. It makes it easier to exit the walker. It's also more stable if it's
exactly.
Yeah.
It's like this is how you park this thing.
Yeah, exactly.
Sorry, my kid needs me for a second. I'll be back in a few. So make all the executive decisions you want.
We will.
Sounds good. Yeah, and because we knew that there was some stuff around before. This seems it seems like a reasonable we'll like tuck it in a corner and kneel down, and that's where we'll park it.
And you can also find a spot on the beach that is far away from the center, from the dome, to be not in the immediate vicinity of the bulldozer.
Yeah, and because there's like some open question of like, okay, what actually are these structures? Will they move if we press the right button? Will they open up and like cause a giant hole to appear? Will they? Who knows?
Yeah, you could scout the area, which is probably easier at daylight. I mean, you could sneak around and assume that maybe under the dome is the main entrance. There's also the pipe in the water that could lead somewhere.
Maybe like a similar kind of structure as we had when we were dealing with the Vomes.
Yes, it looks pretty similar. So the pipe is definitely much younger than the rest of the beach. Although the dunes seem to be rearranged like frequently, at least the central structure, the central dome, is pretty old. Whereas the pipe seems to be newer.
I mean, I think the answer is we probably should do this in the morning, because we're going to be on our feet, exploring around, poking things, walking up to the dome, and camping out in the walker for the night is probably the better idea. We saved time getting here by using the walker, even though we got stuck. We can burn a night and then.
So during the night, I think is anyone on watch? I mean, you're pretty safe in the night. Is on watch.
But you think I trust things in this world? No.
You never trust anyone.
I trust people, but outside of like Saffron and Azure and a couple of others, Austin's. No, I don't. No.
So. During the night, Snyder, there are crab-wit worms, which I take is that they are white crab-shelled worms.
Okay, I thought you said crap-wit, like shithead worms. Accurate, but do you have to like talk mean about them? They're right there.
Not talking mean about the
so
worms.
So basically, white crab worms.
Yes, emerging from the water, and they hold. I mean, you can see them through your night vision. They seem to hold something in their hands, small objects, but the specific shape is, not discernible for you.
Okay.
And they move towards the dome, and you can also see through your scope that they disappear, and then about half an hour later they reappear and walk back into the lake.
Are they still holding the objects that they were holding in their hand? And
no, they don't seem to.
So they left those objects under the dome, it seems.
Yes.
Well,
interesting.
They don't appear to be a threat to us, do they? They're not moving in our direction or anything?
No.
Okay. That's curious, and I'll relay that to everybody else when they wake up. But otherwise, they're just chilling. They're just being their white crab bone selves.
Next morning, all of you wake up. So what do? Morning, again, I hate to repeat this every time, means that there's this weird violet twilight which tints everything.
So everyone kind of stretches their prairie dog limbs, getting back into normal. And I think it's like we should, I don't think we should waste time. I think we should investigate and try to find a way inside, because I think what we know so far is that's where we'll find interesting and valuable things, potentially.
Mm-hmm. So you leave the walker,
Mhm.
and
I'd just like to stipulate that we lock it up,
uh-huh.
take the keys, that sort of thing.
Big chain, you know, attach the leg to the nearest big hard object.
As an aside, in Amsterdam, you always lock your front wheel to the frame to some unmovable object. It's the only way that your bike will survive. Otherwise, you will either lose the bike or at least the front wheel.
Mm-hmm.
Sometimes the saddle and the handles, because they steal everything. But anyway, so you leave the walker and do what?
I'm curious about the dome, and both for what the heck the Vomes were leaving there, but also it seems like a central location that seems like a decent place to investigate.
Let's go. I'm in.
Woo.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, Bicycle Thief, also one of the best movies ever made. The Italian 40s one. Yeah, you make your way past the multicolored dunes and towards these colonnaded courtyards. And I do assume that Nida, in her normal paranoid self, scouts the area, obviously.
Yeah. I mean, one, I'm armed to the teeth. Two, I've got this sniper rifle with long range scopes. I mean, I'm not going to look at things with them?
Mm-hmm. So let's make a wisdom check with advantage to see if you spot something hidden.
For all of us, or Nida, who is on the scopes?
I assume that Nida does that always, but if you want to, I don't know, find like an elevated place to scout the area, you can definitely make a roll as well.
So my wisdom is 10, and I rolled double twos.
That's 2 successes.
Yeah.
So I do think that you find another door, and there is, let's see. There is one of these gravel mounds or dunes that has a like a metal door and what looks like some kind of panel to the side. You can also see that the inverted dome is supported by great stones, and in between them, directly under the dome, it is like a staircase going down, and these are the 2 things that you find.
When you say a panel, do you mean like an electrician's box, like a fuse box looking thing that we'd have to pop open to access, or
Could be. You see it from afar. It's like a square, different colored. It doesn't look like I don't know. There's no buttons to press or anything.
Mm-hmm.
It's a discolored square shaped thing next to the door.
Okay. Obviously, I relay that to everybody.
Might be something you can interact with, or it's some like key, or who knows. But hey, stairs means our first guess of the dome being important is probably right.
Mm-hmm.
What do you want to hit, Saffron?
I mean, going down the obvious path is sometimes risky, but if it's the obvious path, it's also potentially the best path. So we could poke down the stairs carefully.
All right.
See if we can get inside.
All right. When you get closer to the stairs, you can definitely see some kind of flickering from underground. And it's a slightly stale, sour smell coming from down there. And the flickering is like the flickering of like a tube light, neon tube.
I mean, this place appears to be ruins, so nothing too unsurprising, right?
Who's changing the light bulbs when they burn out, though?
The bones. Can crabs change light bulbs?
I feel like that's a fortune roll.
We do that when the lights go out. See if they are able to change them. So what do you do?
I mean, I think Saffron would be fine with just like poking down these stairs carefully, doing general careful spelunking down into here to see if what we can find.
Yeah,
they'd also be fine with going and like trying to debug whatever door access panel stuff there that we spotted.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think Saffron has a great like gut instinct here.
Suggestions?
Do I see anything like tripwires, deadfalls, anything like that that looks like an obvious trap?
If you look down the stairs, the stairs themselves are completely spotless, so there's no, not completely spotless, there's a little bit of sand from the dunes, but you can see many footprints,
Mm-hmm.
and you can assume that they are from the Vomes. And you don't see tripwires, and unless the crabs would know where the wires are, they would constantly trip them.
Okay.
Can I throw a handful of sand down there to check for lasers?
Mm-hmm.
Like Mission Impossible style?
Yes.
Like for laser triggers?
Mm-hmm. There's definitely finer sand, and you can throw it down, and it doesn't seem to be any kind of laser barrier or something.
I mean, this all seems like this is the route the Vones use, and whatever veneration they're doing, they're taking care of this space.
It's just weird that there's no security features we see.
Well, we don't know what they're venerating.
Something venerable, I guess?
Yeah. But it's not necessarily valuable. Security features may come later. But if this feels too good to be true, let's go poke the back door.
No, I'm okay with looking down this way first and seeing what comes of it. I'm just...
I guess if I had to think of one actual risk of going down these stairs is that we piss off the Vones. Because this is their stairway to whatever they are considering venerable. If we don't want to do that, if we don't want to accidentally piss off the Vomes, then maybe going in a back door that they don't care about is better.
Well, that's a good point, Saffron. Besides, it'll let you work your little cybernetic prairie dog magic on whatever that panel is.
Yes, although it hurts.
Oof. Sorry.
So, but possible.
So you check the other door out?
It seems like we have enough kind of sketched out about the stairs, and being like, okay, we want to be friends with the Vomes, not immediately antagonize them. That we'll go investigate the door with the panel.
So Saffron, next to the metal door doesn't seem to have, I mean, even calling it a door is a bit of a stretch. It's completely featureless. What gives away that the panel on the right side is an eye scanner?
Ooh. I think we get close enough, and there's like it like triggers off of nearby motion, and you just see like a little like laser light scan down it. So maybe it's like, oh well, it's trying to do something. It's like hands, eyes.
Yeah, maybe.
Elbows.
Yes. Maybe it is some kind of darkened glass, and you can just make out behind the glass some kind of, camera.
Yeah. Kind of like try to peer into it a little bit.
Yeah, when you peer inside, obviously that triggers the
scans.
The laser scan going from top to bottom, and it probably makes like the sound of the quizmaster announcing that the answer is wrong.
I glance at the others. I'm like, if you want to try, but it doesn't seem likely.
I gesture toward the panel to Azure, basically saying, please be my guest.
Sorry, I missed that last part.
Your guess at what?
What's that?
I'm actually like unsure what NIDA means. If it's see if your eyes are the magic ones that will scan and unlock the door, or you mean tear out the sensor.
Yes. So Azure, there's a metal door that has no handles, nothing, and then next to the metal door there's an eye
the panel, right?
Yeah, behind like
scanning it. All right, so I look at the eye scanner.
It triggers. It goes over you're blinded. With Saffron, who has robotic eyes, it doesn't really hurt anything. But in your case, it actually does blind you completely, and you have to close your eyes for a minute. But you hear the same negative sound.
Whatever an appropriate curse word for this world is, equivalent of fuck. And then when my eye, I do the thing where you rub your eyes, and then shake it off, and then approach it and try to dig my fingers in and rip the damn thing out.
Yeah, you can definitely smash the glass and reveal the camera behind it. And the camera is laid into the side of the door.
The camera's laid into the side of the door. All right. Can I rip the camera out?
Yes, you can rip the camera and the surrounding thing out, and there's a lot of cables leading inside the structure.
So there's nothing that looks like an elevator cable.
It doesn't. But I mean, there's enough cables that Cataract could interact with. I assume that you switched your attunement.
No, I actually didn't switch my attunement before.
ESP, yeah. Okay.
Can I do it now, or will it take a day?
It would take a day, but we can retro. What's it called? Retcon it.
Great.
So
Let's do that.
you spend the night to switch to Cataract, which makes more sense, anyways.
Yeah, because we were talking about using Cataract to maybe run the walker.
Exactly.
So I take out Cataract, I whisper something to it, like we got it in my hand, I whisper something to it, and I put it down, and it scrambles off into the woodwork.
Mm-hmm. How does it look like when it interacts with the information inside? Is it like surrounding itself with the cables? Does it bite into the cables? Does it stick it into its body?
Well, we can't see what's going on because it ran into the,
it completely disappeared. Okay.
It disappeared into the thing, but you can see like shit sparking inside.
Mm-hmm.
Like there's like bright flashes of sparks going on inside of it.
Mm-hmm.
And, and you hear zzz, 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 zzz in relation to the sparks.
Mm-hmm.
And then, I don't know, do I roll to see if it worked? Or no, it just worked.
It does work.
Great.
So the door, you hear the positive sound, like the ping, and the door opens. And unfortunately, it's not an elevator. It's like a corridor leading deeper into the dungeon under the Vicar's Beach.